All right, morning, everyone. Okay, well, you voted for it, you got it. If you did vote for it, either way, we have it. So, needless to say, um, this effect that Trump's doing doesn't actually kick in until midnight tonight. There are going to be some negotiations or talks or something like that happening today. We are leading into today being a volatile day because anything that comes out on the news wire is going to make things jump around like a jackrabbit or whatever. It's just going to be algos are going to be super sensitive today, um, and leading into probably this whole week, we're going to probably see that. We still remember we're still in the middle of earnings, so we still have earnings to be looking at that can help, but the aspect of us actually going back up to where we were really needs to be coming into to get this crap out of the way. So the bounce that everybody's kind of thinking about, well, theoretically we could bounce back up, but the problem is that where the money has kind of come through, and I can't say there was a ton of money. There was a lot of money coming through on the. I mean, it was a huge amount, massive amount of money came in on the yes last yesterday or Friday. Um, Signatures are not really showing any difference. It's like it didn't even happen. It's like what? What happened? It's like nothing. Just kind of an average everyday aspect. So I do expect to start stacking up and seeing a lot more money kind of flow through on the late side, which is our signatures, to start flooding through at a higher price point level of where we came from. Yes, basically Friday session. So, which is not going to basically help you at all in your trading today. Um, because that's basically where all the signatures are going to be dumping in, are all going to be coming pretty close to about the same spot. And it's just going to add fuel to the fire to keep us down. Best case scenario, we go back up to where we closed Friday. Best case scenario is the way I'm seeing it. Now, for the outlook of the long term, well, all time highs is still there. It's still there. And actually, we got data points that's showing it's actually they're going to push it even higher. Came in today. But key thing is when is that going to happen? It's, I mean, how long is this going to be drag out? Is this going to be drag out and fixed today? Is it going to be fixed next week? Are we going to wait until Canada gets a new prime minister in March? So this could be drug out. This could be something that could be lasting for a few weeks, few months. Hell, it could last a few years if they don't really sit down and decide to do something. So the unknown is there, and that's where the algorithms are going to be very responsive today over everything. So we have ability to drop lower here at the open, so just be careful. We do have a kind of a nice looking inverted head and shoulders kind of developing right here. Then an immediate drop back to the low of pre-market, or let's just say the futures low from last night, will totally screw that up in a heartbeat. So be very, very careful, assuming that we're going to just explode back up. You can scalp on the aspect on the long, but be very careful with it because you're trading it kind of against the current at that point. We do have quite a bit of capital that's come into the futures last night to have a crate of a build, and the build doesn't necessarily mean that we're going back up. The build could be for a net continuation pull if we get continuation negative news come through. So right now, look at it as a cushion, but does not guarantee that there will be any significant bounce will be taking place yet. We do have levels that do show that they want to trade us lower coming into the morning session. So let's just be careful. Stick with the short side as much as you possibly can, unless we start seeing that the areas that futures open last night start getting compromised as far as the gapping up part. That's kind of the key thing. Unless we break back through where futures kind of opened, which I think wasn't it like 59.80 right around that ballpark, we really don't have a long. So we can get past that 59.80 and actually can become a base. Then you got yourself a pretty decent scalp for potentially a gap fill up a little bit. But as long as we stay below that, you're going against the river current basically at this point. So everything's going to be very, very sensitive with anything. So the news, the little squawks and all that today are probably going to probably pay for themselves, I would say. Because anything that comes out is going to be volatile for scalp positions and stuff like that. If you're trying to swing for a long, don't do it. We're not there yet. I wouldn't even put an idea of that being on the table unless we get back up to Friday's close. So anything below Friday's close right now is considered a short, and we're going to have to keep that in mind until we start seeing a potential gap fill that kind of takes place. So right now, just expect it to be a build right now with a potential another yank, but who knows? We could see some serious flow that resets us, push us back into Friday's low, but open. But I'm not really necessarily counting on it at this point. Let's just see what we kind of get. Normally, with a big drop like this, we do get a gap fill, but due to the situation and stuff, I'm kind of concerned about how far it would even go up. So that's where we stand right here at the open right now. I'm expecting it to be a little bit of a consolidation day with knee jerk reactions coming out of the kind of the news wires, more or less. Be more or less on it. Got to think, guys. We dropped 100 points, um, basically overnight or from open to close, pretty much. Kind of started with the close of futures, and the spy kept on tanking Friday night. That's not a good sign for a long at that point when the spy skill's going down and your futures has got nothing going on. It's closed down at that point. So yeah, the reset could be taking place, but you see, the futures had to drop, snap down because the SPY snap came down lower than the futures close. So it was just a given that the futures was going to open at a lower level. I just, if you learn anything about what happened Friday's close versus the Sunday's open, that's a key aspect of understanding that the SPY has continued moving when the futures closes on Friday night. The futures will snap to it. Just like if we wind up having the futures make a big aggressive move and the SPY's closed and it winds up opening up, it's going to snap to what the futures did. It kind of work hand in hand here. It's just a little common sense. There's nothing special magic about this. So where we kind of stand right now is just consolidating, build up. They are building and building, building. We've got tons of block trades coming in. The futures down around this low level here. Question is they want to bring it back up or they want to build to give us a huge drop. So until I start seeing a real aggressive flow come in, I'm just going to stay, you know, keeping a close eye on basically the high low of the session we had last night to kind of see before we get into anything aggressive. Right now, it's just scalp hats on at this point. All right, we got no action, so we're in a wait and see mode. The longer we sit here and grind sideways, the less likely that inverted head and shoulders is going to pan out. It's looking starting to develop into like a little bit of a rising wedge look to it now. So can't seem we have kind of tapped a few times above the opening of futures last night. Multiple hits at the top. There hasn't been anything of any significant value at that point. Could be some iceberg setting up there, possible. But as far as actual transactions coming in, that shows that they've came in at that level, and we keep getting slammed down. That's anything of any significant value. No, there's nothing really there at this point. Um, we're just kind of right now in the middle of the transactions have been kind of coming through last night's session. They've been coming in a little bit on the high, down in the low. So the easiest way to describe it, guys, is basically from the high point or the opening range that we started with the futures to the low point of the pull we had last night before we kind of went into pre-market this morning is our chop zone this morning. And until we break below or break above it, there's nothing there but scalps. Just keep that in mind. Like we're getting a little bit of interest of a pull here down to the low point. And we did have some blocks that come in right around this price point earlier this morning. So let's see how it handles it for support. Crack this range, we could drop 20 handles pretty easily.
I was going to say, we have as many taps on the bottom as we do on the top.
Yeah. They've been coming in between 5 to 10 handle increments on average.
How's the weather down there?
Beautiful.
Yeah, we're getting
in
some
the
nice.
80s.
We're in the 70s yesterday, 79 actually.
I think winter's over. I think the groundhog's is lying to us, at least in our area.
Oh, did he see a shadow?
That's what my wife was saying.
That little bastard.
I think we're scheduled to get like another week from now, get down in the like one more front to get us down in the 60s. But like this week is supposed to be all in the 80s, and I think next week we may get be in the 70s. So, which is telling me I need to get outside and do whatever I want to do before it starts getting really hot, because it just is so brutal to be out there when it gets in the 90s and hundreds.
Yeah, we're supposed to hit 80 today.
Like I need to want to go clean my garage out, the kind of spring clean my garage, and it's like I want to do that before it starts getting hot.
I'm still going through boxes that we moved in here in June of 23. Our garage is just full of stuff that there's some things I need to find.
I screwed up when I built this house. I should have did like the neighbors and built this big old. They have these fabricated metal buildings that they put brick around it and stuff. You know, basically like barns, metal fab buildings and stuff. Make them look a little bit nice with the brick accents or limestone. But I didn't bother putting one on mine. I just like, I got a garage, and so you could turn, you can turn that into like a shop and a garage and storage and all that stuff. And it's kind of like, I'm kind of like, I should have done that, because then I got like a shop and air conditioning and all that. Because my garage, yeah, I could go air conditioning and all that, but that's, um, I got so much crap in there. It's just, it's not really feasible for it to be a shop.
How many square feet is your garage?
I think it's the same size as my theater, about 550. Because they're basically clone cloppies. I mean, I could have had 2 4-car garages, um, but I turned one in the model. I've turned basically one into the theater.
So it's a 4-car garage, though.
No, it's a 2-car garage.
Oh, I was going to say that's.
And it's got to be a car, because my truck doesn't fit.
Right. I was going to say 2-car garage wouldn't. If that's not that much square footage to heat and cool.
We could get Suburbans in there and Escalades and stuff like that in there. But I remember when I pulled in my F-150s in there, like in order for me to close the door, pushing the bumper against the drywall, I'd have to take the hitch off the back of the bumper.
Well, we have a 2-car garage. We can only get 1 car in there because we still have stuff to unpack. And when I lived in that high-rise condo, I had a huge bookcase, and it was filled with all these books that I love. And so now they're all in boxes in my garage, and because I have no place to put them. Not that I read books anymore.
Wife and daughter really got into reading in the last year. It's just freaking start. I got a freaking library in this house between the two of them.
Well, I had a library. I mean, my library's sitting in boxes. I think.
I go in my daughter's room, and just the walls are just lined up with bookshelves full of books and stuff. She actually used to work at a library. It was one of her first jobs before she became a teacher and stuff. And so she's just been all into books.
What does she read?
I think they read those slutty things,
Oh, yeah. My books aren't
fantasy type things, medieval, Harry Potter. I mean, I don't know. I don't sit there and really pay attention to what they read. I don't think I want to know.
No, probably not. But the fact that they read is a good thing, man. Even if it's trash. I sat down. I sat down to read this book last night called Atomic Habits, trying to develop good habits, and that was hard.
When our great grandmother was still alive, I remember she was visiting our grandmother's house. Anyway, she when she was visiting basically her daughter, our grandmother, so our great grandmother was there. She was sitting out there reading these novels, I guess romantic novels or something like that. And she was like in her 90s, and she sat there and taking that book, and she started fanning herself, and she's just getting hot in here. I'm like, what?
It's one of those
And
books when
then my wife goes and
Fabian.
says, "Yeah, she reads these little things, and they're very, very tame." She says they ain't like mine. She says hers are very tamed. And I was just like, "Oh my gosh, what the hell y'all reading?
Yeah,
This thing's looking heavier and heavier."
I give these tariffs a month before he rescinds them.
I'm a little curious how it's going to work with Canada's supposed to get a new prime minister about the middle of March. It's kind of like they may have to wait till we get a new prime minister over there to get the Canada part taken care of. If the guy that's in office now doesn't do anything.
Oh no, he's going to match him tariff for tariff.
Yeah.
So is
So
Mexico.
we may not have anything happening till March if that's the case. I don't know. I don't, all I'm concerned about is what the market does to it. I don't really care because as far as it affecting the grocery stores and all that, I figure we probably got about 3 months before we'll start seeing it really start. People will start bitching about prices. There's a lot of stuff that's still inside of the warehouses and all that. I mean, the perishables will be the ones we'll notice first, like your avocados and stuff like that. But when has an avocado never been expensive anyway? It's like, why is that damn fruit? I guess it's technically a fruit. I guess it has a seed in it. Always been so damn expensive.
My brother-in-law used to live next door to an avocado plantation, and they would in Escondido, California, and they would ship us boxes of avocados that fell on their side of the fence, and then the people that own that property, they let that whole orchard die, just die, and then they opened it up for houses.
Mm.
I mean, it was a fire hazard forever because it was slowly dying and everything was drying out.
I tried to grow quite a few of them over the last few years, and they just keep dying on me. They don't like cold weather.
They do not.
They'll grow in this area. I've seen some people grow them and stuff. It's just that trying to get one started, if it's mature already, it can take a little bit of a cold snap. But if it's a starting tree, it's just like as soon as cold snap comes, it just kills it instantly. I had a tree I had that grew that can't handle cold weather, but just grew exponentially super fast. I mean, this damn thing within like 3 or 4 months got as tall as a 1 story house. Was a papaya tree. That sucker grew like a couple inches a day. It seemed like it don't like cold weather either. You get a good cold snap in there, it's done for sure. All right, still 20 handles from our low. Starting to get a little bit of a cycle push back here. So I guess you could say we're in the mid band range right this moment. It's almost like we're waiting for the phone to ring for the the governments to talk to each other.
That's right. We hate to inform you, but it's dead.
Not really getting any options activity coming in that makes any damn weight on the market yet either. Getting a little bit of buyers coming back in here, looks like they're trying to scalp it back up a little bit. Not enough really to do anything yet, but getting a little bit of a try-in factor. Sucks is we're in about a 40 handle range right now. Until we get out of that 40 handle range, this is going to be just hit and miss. So you try and scalp. I just work on maybe 10 handles at a time just to be on the safe side. Because there'll be some 5 handle moves that'll screw you. And a little good coming back in a little more. They're kind of pushing it off of 60, moving it to 70 right here. Like just take a spoonful at a time is about what you can do. They're 10 handles and they pull it. It's insane. Oh, when the apple falls off the tree, we're all in trouble now. Gravity's kicking in. Let's lay a schedule for Trump to talk to Canada at an hour before the market closes. 3 o'clock. It's on the calendar anyway. You got to kind of take also the context that's kind of taking place between Mexico and Canada as far as the understanding. Mexico kind of understands it's about the immigration, it's about the drugs and stuff. But Canada seems to be thinking this is more about a trade war. This is the way they're kind of portraying it right now. So, Canadian side, the guy's got to kind of realize what he's after more, I think. So we may actually see an answer out of Mexico faster than Canada. After you get all the bulls kind of locking their horns, at least first. All right, getting some aggression on the sell here. You see how they give us a little bit of a pull? We got ourselves about another 10. If you go to the top, I guess you could say about 15 handle pull here, but it's slowing down now. And it's starting to curl a little bit. What I'm wanting is a like yank here, you know? I want the bottom to fall out. Burn it down. Yeah, I don't necessarily burn it down. Just come down to some price targets is all I'm looking for. I'm sure this market will probably slow down waiting up to that 3 o'clock hour. So just keep that in mind. Kind of like we're waiting on Powell's announcement or something, since it's on the actual calendar. So the last hour of the trading day for equity could be eventful for stuff popping out of the news wire. I guess it depends on how long the people, those two men talk, when it actually starts hitting the press. So we could have some fun after hours tonight. Whenever Canada tells him to go stick it. Come on, drop. How you gonna cycle? See, now they're coming in with some buyers and gonna rip it right back up. So you gotta be careful right here. As soon as you think you're gonna be dropping, it's gonna turn it back around. They're coming in aggressive with the buyers right here. All right. So I mean, just never know when you're just gonna come across the wire. Still not breaking above the open range of yesterday yet, though. Let's see if we can get a temporary pop here. Still got Canada to deal with, remember? I don't know what a good conversation really means. I mean, that's kind of vague, isn't it? Does that mean they're not going to counter? I thought they were making a decision today. I think to do something with tariffs against us. This is what I figured they were going to wind up doing. What I don't understand is why do they have to wait till he does something? He was already kind of asking them already. Then I mean they know who they're dealing with. It's like, well, let's wait till he threatens it. Maybe they have to do that to um, have an excuse against the cartel. Is like, well, he's threatened this, so we have to do this now. All right, breaking the previous high range here. Let's see if we can get some more buying pressure in here now. So not getting rid of the tariffs yet. Well, it's got us up to 6,000 at least. Let's see if we can push through it. That's just a number, remember? I could have drug this out a little bit longer. Man, we were just having fun going sideways. You think Canada will do the same thing? I don't even know how we go against Canada. We're so intertwined with them. I mean, it's like our military intertwines with them. Like they do shifts at NORAD for the defense systems between our country and their for all of North America. And, it's ran by Canadians and Americans and stuff. So it's like, how do you really upset Canada? It's like, this is so temporary. All right. We need to hold above that 80 since that's where we opened on Sunday in order for this to sustain itself for us to climb any further up. I'm going to use that as a floor base right now. Technically, it can go a little lower because there wasn't any real orders at 80, but it's right around that ballpark. So I'm looking at. Can with Gaff feel? I'd be okay with us going back to the close of Friday with this news. But until we get Canada also on board, I'm gonna have a tough time when I go any higher than that. Because remember, all the cash came from right around that zone, so you gotta be very careful on this push. What I was saying, guys, the technical analysis is not it today. It's all about fundamentals, all about the news. Gotta know when to do what. This is kind of slowed down about as fast as it started, so grind at the 6,000 right here and see what we do. We get another wave or not. Starting to trickle back in. Yeah, you can't get the stories right, guys. Sounds like Mexico's delaying their tariffs. So I was talking about, I got to hear it from the horse's mouth. That's what I'm talking about. Trump comes down and says that he's still holding up to the tariffs. They slam it, or his press secretary says they're still holding up to the tariffs on Mexico. This shit's going to drop like a rock, so be careful. So far, it still looks like buying pressure coming in, trying to trickle up to hold us. So still looking good, but just make sure you keep stops in there just in case you get a flash drop. Well, didn't take very long to get going, did it? I was afraid we were going to stay here all the way to 3 o'clock. Still don't know how they're going to stop the drugs. They're going to strip search everybody that comes into the country now. All right, looks like the Mexican president's starting a press conference here, guys. So just be careful. This is all algorithms doing this. I'm looking around for something that has some serious weight behind, but now I'm not seeing it. Sweeps, maybe you can call it that, but the algos are usually sweeps. So I'd say futures was directing it. Had a little bit of traffic come in right here. I do see some somebody interested in futures that has some weight behind it. Trading right about where we are right now. So let's see if they can get us go higher. See if we can use this as a base where we're currently trading. Actually, this could be a sell order because I see the tape, but it came through to launch us, and then we just had it released over here. So yeah, just be careful. They may be out of the position. They actually drove it up from the futures. Only thing I see positive about it could be a buy orders is both set at the bid side. It could be a continuation order coming through, but the size and everything is dangerously close to each other. See if we can get another thrust here. We got a what about a let's keep it tight. Drop below 10, cut the long. Yeah, she's talking right now, but it's in Spanish, so I'm trying to see if I can get some sort of interpretation off of it. It's all the Spanish I know are bad words. It's like we there we go. No, we got our answer there. Only feed I can find on it. Uh, Google's translator with YouTube is not worth the crap. All right, that's what we needed right there. Well, Spy's pretty close to the area that it closed off at. And technically, I wanted to go up to when it closed the actual 4 o'clock hour, not after hours. But this is a spot. This is a start. So we got a whole month to sit here and wonder what the hell's going to happen. What smart's going to be like? Just kick the can down the road, like typical politicians. Decriminalize all drugs, huh? I think that's a slippery slope area.
So there's snow outside. Yeah, it's freezing here. You guys, it's getting warm for you guys?
Oh yeah, I'm in the 80s right now.
Solid 32 where I'm at.
You can keep that. Well, let's see if we can keep this thing going so we can get it up there to where we closed Friday at least. Based on the data points I'm seeing between the futures and the buy, but this where we were in the close Friday is the most likely outcome because of the futures bringing in orders low and the basically equity bringing in orders high. So we'll probably squeeze this in the middle, which will put us right about where we closed Friday's session. Guys, we're really probably not going to go anywhere unless we get some more news coming in. Um, it's a trickle situation. We got a lot of icebergs above us that are trying to sell, and so we may get up like 5, 10 handles, and then they pull us back. 5, 10 handles, pull us back. Ultimately, until we get close to where we were on Friday's close, we won't really be free and clear of all it because there's a whole lot of crap sitting here from the pre-market session or the after our session of Friday that is kind of lingering. So it's not going to be an easy run up unless we get some sort of like news that pops in that says something else. And frankly, now that Mexico's kind of out of the way, we got to wait for Canada, and I don't think we're going to have anything until at 3 o'clock. So just kind of treat this as algorithms slowly trying to creep us up, chiseling away at icebergs that are trying to sell right now. And with hopefully we can get to at least the close of Friday's session before we get to the close of to the 3 o'clock hour, and that way we can kind of look at a reset and kind of see maybe if those two people can have a little bit of consensus like they just had with Mexico. So just be real careful because you can get chopped up right around here. It's going to be a lot of back forth, back forth. It's kind of taking place right here. All right, got that little snap right there coming to a little basing. Let's see if we get a little curl push back. Slippage down to 6,000 flat, but considering where we're at right here, gotta just be patient and wait for it to actually show itself. But this is a good spot if they want to slow it down and flip it. Trying to base here. Remember, guys, we're just in scout modes right now. Get a good base here. You have about a 10 handle pop. So it gets to its nearest resistance. Pullback ratio can fall down to 11. And for y'all scalpers, we're starting to get a little tight with an apex getting ready to start up. Getting ready to get a move here, it looks like. Need the flow to come in. It's getting real tight right here. There you go. There's your push. Needs to get a little bit more to break through. We get some energy here now. Making a decision right here. All right, get ready to lock some in on this push. A little bit further, and we should see a cycle. See, when you're scalping, you got to be patient for the good scalps, not this little micro back and forth crap. This is the type of scalp you want. Let that trade come to you. So I think most of y'all guys are sleeping right now, not even paying attention. Lock some in. Technically go a little bit higher, but this is right around the area where you start expecting the cycle start kicking in. So we get one more burst. Burst starts kicking in a little bit higher on the scalp right here. All right, let's see if we can get another setup. Starts forming. They give us a nice little push for another 6-7 handles. Then we can start looking at a potential breakout, but they cut it short, then that'll cut that idea out quick. But we should look for a cycle push off of that because it's coming off the bottom, not breaking from the top. Well, maybe I just need to wake some people up, huh?
Easy money!
Maybe that'll help. Everybody's like, "What did I just miss?" So, what type of scouts do y'all guys like to play? You like to play that little back and forth where it kind of moves, one, two, three handles at a time, or you like the ones that kind of push like, 20, 30 handles? Because you see, if you're trying to do that little back and forth, where it's like, oh, it's up three handles, five handles, oh, it's back down two or three handles, oh, it's up 10 handles, oh, it's back down. That's when you usually get a little frustrated because then by the time it actually does play out, you're just like, well, shit, I just got to get my money back. All right. At this point, we should kind of expect a little bit of a pull cycle because we don't have a whole lot of energy going on here. This is just algos moving back and forth, but they give us good setups from time to time. So I mean, get a little pull back here. Just your little 38, 61% retrace off the push. Nice thing about it is they're getting us a little bit tighter and tighter for an apex for a bigger aspect here. Um, really need to go into another little grind session so we can go get another setup though at this point. And if you guys are kind of curious how I'm kind of seeing this stuff, it has nothing to do with the tape because there's really nothing flowing with the tape that's really helpful on this. Uh, has absolutely nothing to do at level two because that's not really helpful at this point. But what we've been learning over there in full access, those patterns and stuff. Ah, that little charging system right there. That's what I was using right there. All that stuff been learning in the classes over the last 10 weeks or so. Could have played that play right there. Just keep that in mind. All right, are we ready to start all over now? This is like wash your clothes. This is what they call it, rinse and repeat. Get the washboard out, the old-fashioned washboard, huh? All right, they're pulling down a little deep here. Let's see if we can get ourselves another base here. Let's see if they start this little back and forth consolidation for a little while, build something. This is where patience kicks in. And if we get a good base here, we'll be looking for the next push would be about a 15 handle pop. Let's see how it holds right here. They can drive us down a little bit deeper for support purposes. Which gives us that triple bottom effect right there. Let's see if we get a reversion off of it or not. Decision making spot right there. All right, see if we can get some buy sweeps to come in here or not. You also guys got to be prepared that we may get another pullback before the 3 o'clock hour with the expectations leading up to that little talk that those two presidents are going to be talking about. 6,000 flat would be a nice little round number for a good area for it to base into that. But I think we still got a little ways before we got to worry about that. All right, trying to get the breakdown. See if they come back and recover it or not. So it's a decision making spot. Come back up, see if we get the recovery. Get a rejection right about here, then we pull continued downside. We recover right here and we start bouncing. Decision making spot right there. All right. Well, there's your warning right there. Be careful in your positions now because don't know what's going to come out of that. All right. Scalp range right now. Pullback ratio 6,000 on the low side. High side pushback. You're looking at around 60-30. 30 handle range, 15 handles plus minus. All right, it's pulling those press people into the Oval Office for an unscheduled press conference. So do expect something to come out of that. So be extra careful. Maybe go flat if you're concerned. Don't get caught up in a scalp and turn it into something that could be bad. But there's only positive things that come out of the White House nowadays, right? So we should be fine. Because every time he opens his mouth, the market drops, right? All right, getting that little base bounce here. So we get up to about 30, but we may be on the safe side, take it at about 25 since we pulled about an extra 5 handles. And a mid band cycle right here. All right, Trump is now talking. He's talking about TikTok. Let's get a little bit further. Stacked another cycle off of it. I'm technically flagging right here for a little bit. Let's see one last push before they call it quits on this push. All right, starting to get a little bit more buying in here. About 7 handles. 10 would be better, but let's get ready to start locking in. Let's get a little bit more out of this thing before it starts collapsing. Right about there. Locks them in. We're at a cycle range right here.
Easy money!
Oh, sorry, did I wake you up again? Rinse and repeat. Do I need to do this hindsight so y'all guys kind of see how it's done after the fact, or y'all like that live shit? All right, now he's talking about tariffs now. Get the little Yankee. Pull on the chain some. Flush the toilet. Oh, he's getting ready for his conversation now, huh? Is this like when the wrestlers get up on the stage and talk crap about each other? All right, starting to get to another apex point, starting to build up at this area. A little bit of back and forth we should get, but be extra careful here because he's flapping his jaws right now. So he may have already. He's already said he had a talk with the Canadian president already. I thought it was scheduled for 3 o'clock, but maybe he's already talked to him early. I don't know. It sounds like he's already talked about it by one of the news reports, but I have it on the calendar for 3 o'clock. He's supposed to talk, so we'll see. Says had a good talk with him. Guys, we're not treated well with Canada. We don't need Canada cars, lumber, agriculture. Don't mind making our cars in the USA. Whatever. We've had a great negotiation with Mexico. Speaking with China over the next 24 hours, probably. China will not be involved with the Panama account for long. So I don't know if he's talking at 3 o'clock in or he's already had his talk with the Canadian Prime Minister. Tariffs are opening salvo. He's going to do multiple firing off on his tariffs to China. We're going to get the Gatling gun with the tariff gun, huh? Just start spraying tariffs at China. That's what salvo means, right? Like random fire or something like that. Multi-fire. He spoke once with him. He's going to speak again at 3. Oh, let him think over it during lunch, or what? Is that the idea? I don't see how, when you're talking about big decisions and what you're going to be doing like this stuff, how you're going to get anything accomplished on the first conversation anyway. I would think it would be a little bit back and forth. We know Trump. I mean, it's his way or the highway, right? Boy, aren't we living in exciting times now? Everything's going to all-time highs. The brink of World War III, and we're fighting all our allies for tariffs. That's exciting times, isn't it? Question will they be reading about this 100 years from now in school books? Will schools exist 100 years from now? Well, I guess Charles Dickinson's probably said it the best. It's the best of times, it's the worst of times. All right, gonna go good little grind right here going. Let's see if we can get ourselves another setup. It's like he's still kind of talking. Can't find a live feed on it. I'm just getting it across the news wires. Looks like one of the things he just said is China's tariffs. If we can't, China's tariffs will go up if we can't make a deal. I may be wrong about it, but I think China was paying a 50% tariff, and I think we added the 10, they'd be 60% now. But I may be off on that because I've been trying to find that, and that's the only thing I could find because they're supposedly paying more than anyone else already. And I think that's off his old thing because I don't think Biden ever took it down. It says he also would like to reciprocate tariffs on more countries. So I've still got the UK to worry about, or Europe in general. Just like an old fashioned Boston Tea Party we're having right now. He wants Ukraine to give us rare earths. Interesting. He's seeking guarantees of rare earths from the deal with Ukraine. Guess he's wanting the money back that we've been spending all these years on him. That could get a little bit walky with the market, with them settling down the Ukraine thing. And if we're doing something like trying to get rare earths out of Ukraine, meaning Ukraine will be a sovereign country, at least parts of it still. I'm assuming they're just going to draw a line saying Russia, you can have this part, Ukraine, you can have this part. It's probably what's going to go down. But it also means that if that's the case, then China or Putin would seriously have a problem because it would almost be like we'd be defending Ukraine because we'd be wanting their metals at that point. Sounds like we'd get more embedded with the whole Ukraine thing than we already are. How much should we pay? We should own it. Yeah. We put a lot of money into it, that's for sure. I could see him trying to get the money back. But if you're doing that, you're also almost, military protection at that point is what you're probably looking at. But Ukraine may go for it if they feel like we're going to protect them at that point. Because I don't see how we're going to be able to use a guarantee with them for precious metals without doing some sort of protection against them for future actions. And some sort of like treaty kind of setup, you know. That's going to be interesting how that comes out. He's not happy with Panama situation, but they have agreed upon some things over there. So, I had a call with Panama on Friday. Who knows? We may get a bunch of this crap behind us pretty quick. Better than dragging it out like we've been dragging out Ukraine and Gaza and everything else for the last few years. Start all new problems. You know, because we can't live in peace. We gotta have something going on all the time. So what's next? We're getting pretty close to another apex here, guys. So could have another move happening soon. Be careful because it sounds like he's still flapping his jaws. And like I said, I haven't found a wire. I like to see the video wire so I know when he shuts up. Because the news wires, they don't really tell you when they kind of tell you when he's starting to talk, but they don't usually tell you whenever he's shut down, you know? Figure somebody be broadcasting at least on YouTube or something. I can't find shit. Just all the news services I pay for is the only way I'm getting this information. Go look at all the broadcast channels. They're not doing crap. I think they're getting desensitized to him already. Maybe when we get past all this stuff, we still got to worry about Europe because he's going to be doing something with them. So he gets off of this little rant. He's going to be probably going after them next. So we're not free and clear of all this volatility, even if Canada and they make it an agreement with Canada today. I'm not really confident we're going to make a deal with Canada because didn't that guy fly down to Florida to talk to him and already knew all this was kind of coming in place, and yet he's acting like he wasn't prepared for this. It's like he already knew ahead of time that this shit was coming. It's like he had a couple months to prepare for it. Why is that guy stepping down anyway? Anybody know? He's just not liked. Mexico sends 10,000 soldiers to the border. It really doesn't seem like a whole lot, considering how big that border is. What are they really going to do? Just sit there and watch people walk by? All right, starting to get a little bit of bullish activity here. Don't have enough buyers to come in to try to actually do it properly, though. So this could be a fake out move right here. They'd have to slam us really hard with buy pressure with some sweeps for this to work. So even though we come into that apex point, you got to be extra careful right here. Buyers are starting to come through a little bit. Let's see if we get some sweeps to back it up or not. I mean, technically it's a breakout point, so we got to get some good buying pressure right here. Otherwise, it turns into a fake out. And they're trying. Get above about 36 in order to actually get the full-fledged thrust. Not enough follow through. Not at this time. Yeah, see how it's starting to collapse on itself a little bit. We're trying to hold it here still, but not stable enough yet to try to make it actually work. How do I like Jerry Jones no longer being the worst team owner in Dallas? Who's the worst team owner if it's not him? Mark Cuban with the Mavericks? I don't know. You're on that. Why does that not surprise me? All right, so get another sweep here. Let's see if we can get it to continue with the flow. We're top of a trend channel right here. We got to be extra careful. One's kind of established in the last hour. So good odds that this thing's going to slip right back down. Unless we get some serious buying pressure start coming in. It's looking good for a breakout. It's just that got to get this thing to get flow. Otherwise, it's going to collapse right back down. And being that we really don't have a reason to move right this moment. Don't see any order flow in here that has really changed in the last 30, 40 minutes. I'm not going to count on this. Is it going to hold? All right, guys, you may want to start looking at locking in a little bit. We're coming up to resistance range for potential cycle. Still got about another 20 handles to go before we get back to Friday's closing point for the futures. Kind of shut down. The SPY continued. That's still kind of the end game I'd like to kind of get to if we can get there before they talk. But just be careful because things don't go well at 3 o'clock. I mean, this thing can just pull back just as fast as it's kind of going up, or actually faster going down. If it goes very well, then we could actually see a potential rally off of it and go back higher up. Because technically, we are trading at a much higher level than where we're currently at right now. Extra careful here. It cycled down pretty easily. About 10 handle cycles, what you'd be looking at right around that ballpark. I like to grind through this 50 and push even higher, but I like a little pull back to kind of build up for another thrust. Trying to pop right here is going to be a little bit on the difficult side unless they get super aggressive quick. Now this can pull back on the SPY level about $1. Trying to defend it a little bit here. It's pretty funny, gunpowder. Did you see the meme that he posted on his social thing the other day? When he did Colombia. I put in FAMO. Politically correct for a president to say that, you know. Yeah, I don't think he cares. Definitely posting a little grind spot right here. I just saw some clips that came in about an hour ago of that he was over the weekend bombing ISIS, like their caves and stuff over the weekend, and some video footage they started releasing a couple hours ago. I mean, one thing you can say that the guy is definitely a multitasker, that's for sure. No more cavemen. I think it was over in Somalia. I think is where they were doing the bombings. All right, so he's into the pull. Let's see if we can get a nice little yank and get us out of its system. Let it reset back up. All right, it's kind of a decision making spot here to cycle back up or crack and get a good flush. It's right at the edge right here. All right, let's just start getting a little careful here, guys. It's got about 20 minutes before he's supposed to be talking to that prime minister, and we'll probably get some stuff coming across the news wire. All right, starting getting some unusual buy activity coming in here and see if they're going to blow the top off or not. This could drive us up 25 to 50 handles if they keep the aggression going. Let's take one step at a time with it, though, because as much as it starts up, it can slow down just as fast. I haven't really looked at AMD. I'll mess with it really tomorrow once we kind of get past this thing with Canada, see where we kind of stand. We'll have a better understanding where we can actually play these earnings. Right now, things are just a little wonky. Right now, you make a decision now and it's going to be completely wrong by tomorrow. I'd like to see this thing go about as high as it can in the next 10 minutes. Because Canada basically tells Trump to stick it. We may see a pullback here. Yeah, more than likely we won't hear a press conference for an hour, but depends how fast that they talk. If it's a quick conversation, it's probably not going to be a good conversation. Just remember, the algos are going to be responsive to anything that comes out on any news wires, so let's be extra careful.
Looks like we're building a Head and Shoulders.
Well, things don't go well. Yeah, I think we could see a nice little free fall. Not a lot stopping us from going back down.
What's he supposed to talk about? Canada? I mean, Mexico cut a deal for a month.
Yeah. Canada does the same thing, then we'll probably just get right back where we were on Friday's session.
I don't get it. I thought his new NAFTA deal in his last term was like the end all to end all.
There's the difference between a trade deal and the difference between getting a country to do what you want on the other crap.
Well,
Most of the people that are in investment right now are making mistakes thinking that he's actually trying to do a trade war. This isn't a trade war. This is just flexing his muscle, getting him to do what he wants him to do.
well, I think the president of Mexico said, you know, if your country didn't consume so many drugs, there wouldn't be such a market, and if you guys didn't smuggle so many guns, there wouldn't be so much violence down in Mexico and Latin America.
Well, the real thing comes down to is you got to just stop the market, get people where they just don't want guns and they don't want drugs. I don't think that's ever going to happen.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, if they can stop the fentanyl, we sure as hell can stop the guns.
Well, it looks like the press secretary is the one that's releasing information that the phone call has started, so maybe she'll put out more information quicker than the news wires will. Or at least give it to the news wires quickly. We're definitely in a day where a technical analysis doesn't really matter much. We got to wait for every little bit of news coming out. I like the technical side better, I think. A little more predictable than this decision making between people arguing. Well, maybe Clorox could clean up the mess, huh?